Bacon, no bacon, no bacon, no bacon,
Bacon, no bacon.
Podcast. Not business. See why? Technical Problem Podcast. Sorry, we renamed it. It's now the Technical Problem Podcast, brought to you by Comedy Here Often. No, it's still called Bacon, no bacon. Also brought to you by Comedy Here Often, the all comedy network here in Canada. Brought to you by 604 Records out of Vancouver. I fucking look like I'm missing a tooth or something.
Here often. You don't look like you're missing a tooth.
I did for a second. There's a weird
just
shadow.
I guess you got a weird shadow there. And it makes your tooth look a lot more crooked than I ever remember it being.
Yeah, I know.
What the hell's happening to your teeth?
Got a new light. We got a new setup. If I look more crisp to you all, it's because we're now using an actual HD video camera, not my stupid webcam. The green screen probably look a little bit better. A little bacon, no bacon back there. Look at that. I could superimpose my chest. Right. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm getting lost in the fucking thing, but whatever. We're doing shit, everybody. The Bacon No Bacon has, to date, literally generated zero revenue. We got some free coffee and a free T-shirt, an ashtray. What else did we get? Abdul hasn't gotten any of this. Oh, a couple coffee cups, an ashtray, a T-shirt, and some coffee. And I have spent like fucking $2,000 on fucking equipment for it.
Yeah, it costs a lot.
So we really need to step up our game here and generate some revenue. Would you like to sponsor Bacon No Bacon? Perhaps you own a butcher shop in Almont, Ontario. You, my friend, actually does. This would be a great place to advertise your fresh fucking cut bacon for a very modest fee. We will plug the shit out of it. We'll eat bacon. Well, not we. I will eat double the amount of bacon on the podcast. And Abdul will just sit there judging me. Oh, you kafir eating a fucking vile swine. And I'll be like, this swine is delicious. Go to the Almont Butcher Shop. It's delicious. That is just an example of how awesome we can make your business look if you decide to sponsor Bacon No Bacon. Perhaps you have a halal shop, that you have a new kind of ostrich bacon that you're putting out because it's halal, and I don't know, can you make ostriches halal? Yeah, I'm sure.
Can you
we would love to promote your business. I don't know why we're going all butcher. Yes, we only want sponsorships from butcher shops, halal or otherwise. If you have a car dealership, go fuck yourself. We do not want to. No, I'm kidding. We would love to do car dealership. Come to Land Rover Laval. They've given me things.
They've given you
Land Rover Laval. They sent me remember when I had my Range Rover? They sent me in the letter E.
Oh, really? That's cool.
To finish off my Range Rover. Yeah, very nice man. I forget his name. That's terrible. But yeah, Land Rover Laval. Would you like to sponsor the Derek Seguin Abdul Butt Comedy Here Often International Bacon No Bacon podcast? We will for the letter E and the letter R, we will give you a free plug. No, it's not free because it costs a letter R and a letter E.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to fix your audio.
It's not syncing?
Movement. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out. I've never had the chance to like screw around with this, and I think I'm slowly getting it. Yeah, it's not bad.
You could change. You could delay the
I could
arrival
delay
of
it, but
my voice.
For some reason, I don't know. I have to delay it quite a bit. It seems like it's taken a lot to do it.
Well, it could be because you got a lot more. It's a lot, like, because even me, I'm not synced even on the video camera. I'm not synced.
Really?
You know. So on the screen, it's even worse. But now you've got 1080p going in video wise and going across the network, whatever. To you, all the way to you and fucking Kirkland or wherever, the Pierrefonds. So yeah, but you're able to do it. You can manually delay.
I could manually do it. I'm trying to get to it. It seems like it's a lot, but it seems like it's slowly getting there. It goes up in millisecond increments, and I feel like I'm getting it closer, but it never seems to really like just line up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Hey, that's a lot better.
And is it better? Yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1.
All right, everybody on the audio podcast is going to be wondering what the hell we're doing. Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to
Right,
get the
that's true.
video going.
The video element is only it's about 1/10, I think, eh? Like
Yeah, we have a
the
lot more
YouTube
listeners.
watches
People
are
like
about
listening to the podcast more than they like
yeah.
watching our stupid faces. We don't have enough. We need something enticing to look at. I don't know.
I've got the green screen with the fucking logo back there. I could change that. I could.
Yeah, maybe put something
Oh, I had a
attractive in the
great one
back.
last night. Last night, Angela had she
What's
what
that?
the fuck we
Spit
were
it out,
doing
buddy.
like a Zoom. We played like a Zoom trivia night with some friends.
Okay.
And so we were on her computer, so I was the choice of backgrounds that I had to choose from were from her photo thing, and she had a picture on there for some reason of this audition that I did like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Oh no, it wasn't an audition; it was a photo product. Reese took a photography class at Cégep.
Okay.
So there was really hyper close up photos of my face. So I
Okay.
put that as the background. You got a giant fucking my face in between. Angela was here and I was here, and like it was a giant me right between us, looking sinister. Like I think I was like, remember Private Pile in Full Metal Jacket? You
Oh yes,
can't.
the crazy guy. Yeah.
I am in a world of shit.
You look that evil. You look like a fucking mean old bastard.
Slobbering and everything.
Um.
All right, here
Yeah.
we go. We're going. We're
Rocking and
baking no
rolling, buddy.
baconing.
We've already started.
Abdul Butt,
Okay.
how
Yeah.
are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm okay. I'm keeping busy. Trying to writing some things, writing a few things, taking the time,
Like
write
jokes or scripts?
scripts, writing an outline right now, writing two outlines actually, one for a cartoon and one for a feature film.
Cartoon. Did you hear our friend Heidi
I
Foss got
did, yeah. I was very
thing?
excited to see that. It seems like cartoons are still alive, so it
She's had a
made me
couple
feel
of kids
good.
shows produced.
Yeah, actually, she
Heidi's
was in
out there.
LA working on. I'm pretty sure that's what it was when she was in LA. I remember her telling me about it, and I think it's about butterflies and that she was saying a cartoon
Yeah,
about butterflies that she had an idea of. Yeah, she was in LA. We hung out. We went out to her, myself, and Carolyn went out for dinner and hung out on Venice
nice.
Beach. We were right on the boardwalk. Oh man, remember those days? Remember when life was just
But
so
just to give
easy?
people an idea,
That
to
was
give
like a
people
year
like
and a half or 2 years, not even 2 years ago.
not in show business, but that script was optioned 11 years ago,
Right? Yeah.
and then they gave her a development deal, and she developed. She wrote like 3 different scripts
Yeah.
for it, and then it just sat
Yeah.
for 10 years. And then last year, like you said, she went. They said, "Hey, we want to make maybe instead because it was she had pitched it, she had optioned it as a film script."
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, whatever, they said, we're thinking of turning this into a series, actually. So then but just to give you an idea of how hard this grind is that Abdul and I have decided to get into, 11 years, tabarnak. Like,
Yeah. That's the way it works with
and
writing
the beauty
things.
about Heidi is that she looks exactly the same. She has the same haircut. I think she's still wearing the same jacket. Let's see. It's like she was, we're going to turn, she's like, I'm determined, I'm going to look exactly this way until this becomes a thing, until this is actually on the air somewhere.
Yeah, you just got to keep
So good for
it's
Heidi.
it could be discouraging, but I feel like the writing world and when you pitch stuff like that, it could just sit on a shelf for a long time and then they like my I ended up optioning an idea to Kevin Hart, and that idea I pitched for 2 years. I mean, not 11, but I pitched. I mean, it still didn't get made,
Yeah.
so it's still sitting on a shelf. But I pitched that idea for 2 years to multiple production companies, and it never went anywhere. They didn't. They were like, "Yeah, we like it, but maybe shoot it first, see what it is."
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And then I had it kicking around, and just for laughs had an entry for Kevin Hart was looking for ideas, so I just was like, I got one laying around, may as well pitch it. So I pitched
Just
it,
for
and and it
pitching.
got
Yeah.
optioned. So yeah, I mean, it's sitting on a shelf just like that. I hope 9 years from now, because I think it's already been like 3. I hope I get something done with that too. That'd be cool.
That's when it'll come, man. It'll be like the day that you pitch a tent on your land in
Yeah, and I'm
Chamonix,
ready
see
to
that
hang my
you're
hat up and
yeah,
they're like,
rock bottom.
yeah,
Somebody will come and knock on your tent and be like, "Hey, remember that show?" But that's the thing with Heidi's idea. It's a cartoon, right?
right.
So as we know, filmmaking has evolved so much in the last 15 year,
Yeah.
right? It could be that when she pitch it, it's like, oh yeah, it would be good, but Kiss, it's gonna cost us
Yeah, it might be.
28
Yeah.
million to produce. And now, cartoons like you fucking the AI on computer animation, you draw the character and then you just go, like
It's a lot more work, but yeah, it definitely is a hell of a
it's
lot
more, but
easier.
it's faster.
Yeah, it's a hell
It's
of a lot
faster than
easier.
fucking drawing a thing
Yeah.
by hand, taking a
You
photo
basically
of it, and then
create it
fucking going back.
like it's basically like created like your before you used to have to draw one frame and then the next frame and the next frame and show the
Yeah, yeah.
movement. But now it's just like you draw it. Let's say you take my hand and then you would
Thanks,
just
man.
draw lines with points of where the joints are, and then you can just grab it and it'll do this, and then you can grab it and do that. So that's
Yeah,
it's a hell of a lot easier, but it's still quite a lot of work. But
you draw the each thing that you're gonna
you
reuse
basically put
in
joints to it.
3D, a 3D. Yeah,
Yeah,
you make a
it's
3D
pretty
thing, and then
cool.
you allow it to have movement as you want.
It's
Yeah, it's
really,
great.
really cool how things like have evolved, and I can't even imagine in 10 years from now. Yeah, maybe in 10 years from now, it'll be like right arm goes up, and it'll just go
Yeah.
up. But nowadays, it's a little bit trickier, but still very much easier than it used to be. Yeah, it's crazy that she. I'm very happy for her.
Anyway,
It's good,
option. I'm so yeah,
very
so
good. It's
happy for
nice to
her.
see that there's some movement in our industry of entertainment.
Yeah.
It's been quite a ride, man. It's been quite a ride. Everything's
So,
still
and I think Heidi has maintained a visa this whole time, even though like
yes, yeah, she has.
hardly gone there. So like for 20 years, Heidi has maintained a visa, or maybe not yeah, probably a
She's
visa.
had
Do
it
you
for
have
a
to live
long
there with a
time. No,
visa?
you don't. No, she's had a visa for
Okay,
yeah quite some
it's
time.
your thing. The green card, you have to
Yeah,
live
you
there.
got to live in
Visa,
the
you
states. Yeah, pay taxes in
okay.
the states, and yeah, but she
Where a visa you could go once a year, and
yeah visa you
it
could
doesn't matter.
yeah well again your visa only lasts a certain amount like I think 2 or 3 years, and you got to keep
3 years, yeah.
renewing it and all that. So yeah, it's
Yeah, so she's invested in this thing, keeping it active in case someone. She has like there's a she, Heidi's very prolific, and
she's
she
done a
she
lot.
she
I think
worked.
she just doesn't
She's probably
let
yeah,
everyone
she's
know.
probably got like 20 different scripts that have been pitched.
Yeah,
And this is the one that stuck finally. But she did a couple of years ago, like 4 years ago, she had something
she
produced
had
as well.
another. I think she wrote on a movie. I think it was a Disney, or Disney ended up buying it or something. She wrote on something.
A kids movie, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's been doing. Yeah, she's good. She does, but again, she was like she's from that old generation, right? She got in on that when like Just for Laughs meant a lot more. Like you did it just for laughs. You'd get like noticed in Hollywood, and they'd keep you on the Rolodex, and now
yeah,
now it's not like that anymore. But she got in luckily, and she kept her foot in there the whole time, which is what you got to do. Yeah, it's a good.
yeah.
There's a few
But
guys.
even her stand up,
You know all those guys like John Rogers,
John Rogers, yeah, it probably didn't hurt her to be good friends with him.
and a few other. I think Montreal. Uh, uh,
Barry Julian,
Barry Julian, Jeff Rothpan, also another great writer who's done
yeah,
a lot of like behind the scenes stuff, like writing a lot. All these,
yeah.
there's a lot of people from Montreal that did very good doing, because they started out during that era. That era was a good era to be in comedy,
Dan Guterman,
right?
he was the head of the Onion. I also was watching Rick and Morty the other night. He's written a few episodes of Rick and
Cool,
Morty for Adult Swim.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking funny
those were
guy.
good. Like
But
that must have been fun.
palpable. Dan had a palpable anxiety about being on stage.
Really,
It was similar, when you watch Mitch Hedberg, he always seems to be
a
looking
little
at the ground,
nervous.
or
Yeah,
even with his eyes
yeah,
closed.
yeah.
Dan Guterman would fucking be delivering the most hilarious number and be just staring at the ground. He couldn't look the audience
Really,
in the
eh?
face. Like he even said he doesn't like it. It gives him such anxiety. Even the day of an open mic night,
Right.
he would feel anxious, but yet he was addicted to it.
Yeah.
So I guess writing the joke and seeing the joke put out into the world is a perfect balance for him, because he's a
Yeah.
genius joke writer, but actually being there and having to deliver it himself seemed to
It
cause him
gets you out
anxiety.
of
Maybe it was just part of the act.
yeah, it gets you out of your head. I was telling this to John St. Goddard. I was talking to him during the week, and I was telling him I'm writing this stuff out, and I'm like, I miss because I used to write and then I would go do stand up. But I mean, it's weird because I don't write my stand up out, but like I'm writing pitches and things. But then you're trying to write funny things in your pitch and your outlines or your scripts, and then you, even if you're not telling those jokes on stage, just to get out and go on stage and tell other jokes and understand what
Yeah,
funny is again to people, like gives you that
yeah.
recharge of like, okay, I know now, I know which way to take this ship. I get what people are into, what they're thinking. But the fact that we haven't been able to do that like at all now, it's I feel like that makes it tough because you're writing all day and then at the end of it you're like, I need to like say a lot of the stuff that's in my head, and like, no, is this even funny or am I just writing it down for no reason? So it's interesting that he would do that. I get why he would do that. Like he's a great writer and would need to get on stage still
Yeah.
because you need that. For me, I love that balance because I can't just sit and write. I need to like also express it on stage, even if it's not what I'm writing. I just need to like say other jokes just to get that compass of where you're going. Are you in a Microsoft Paint? What do you? That's
It's
hilarious.
that office that I put before. I was getting sick of the black.
So it gives you that office with an outline like you're in Microsoft Paint right now. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Oh, why is it not? Does it not look real? I thought it was a photograph.
No, dude, it looks like you're in a cartoon
Oh,
and there's a
let's
Microsoft
get
Paint.
rid of that.
No, I think it looks great. Why is it like that? Are you opening it in Microsoft Paint?
No, it's Skype options.
Okay, so that's you're seeing what I'm seeing though, right?
Yeah, but I can't. It's super small. I can't. I thought it was a
Oh,
photograph.
I
I
see what
thought
you're
it was a
saying.
photograph,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's not.
You look like
Oh, this is the one. No,
you look like you're in an
this is
office, like you're gonna. Oh
is
no.
that real?
Yeah. Now it looks like you. Yeah, that's a cartoon. Yeah, that's
Is that real?
well, it looks like
Like sunset?
it looks like a dark alley. It looks like you're gonna sell crack in there.
How's that?
This just looks like your house but nicer.
Yeah. Look at that. Is that a plant? Oh my
Yeah,
God, I
it's a
got a plant
living
now.
plant. It's a
I'm so,
real one.
mm, how was that?
That's hilarious. That's really funny. It looks like a nicer version of your house. Um,
It's like those TV commercial I did for the government at Christmas time.
yeah,
People were like, "Is that your house?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Fuck, if
yeah,
you think
yeah.
if you think I live in this place, you really think I'm doing well.
The government came over to your house to film a commercial. That would be hilarious. We're gonna film. All right, we've chosen you. You are the actor that we would love to have. How's your house looking? We need a location to film this.
Yeah, I called
Imagine
Mike Ward to be like, "Hey, buddy, I have a meeting. Could I take a meeting at your house, please?"
that.
Oh God.
I haven't spoke
So,
to him in a while. How's he doing? Have you talked to him lately?
well, the Supreme Court hearing was on Monday,
Yeah, I
so
watched.
I watched it. I watched it online.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it was very interesting to see.
I can't believe that even now, I see at the Supreme Court level that it's still well, you threatened to kill him, you threatened to drown him, and like I can't believe that's still coming
I
up in the case. Even his lawyers, like, no, no, obviously that was a joke.
I
I mean, that's
know.
obviously a joke. Otherwise, this would be a criminal case. You know what I mean?
I know. I feel
It's
like I don't know, man. It's hard to watch because I don't know if his lawyer's doing the right thing at times. If he's
so
not, it's hard to.
for some people that don't necessarily know what happened, a friend of ours, Mike Ward, who's
Sure, yeah.
quite famous in French, if you don't know of him, he's very famous on the French side in Quebec, did a joke 11 years ago on a tour that ended up being on his DVD about a disabled kid. He was a kid at the time. Now he's 19, I think.
He was
But
also an artist, right? He was a singer, and
right,
he has an album out. He had an album out. He was touring.
right. It was not. It's that's it. He was well. That's the fucking beauty of it. When he filed the lawsuit, the following week is when he released an album. Like it was all a publicity
Yeah,
grab.
yeah.
Let's go. Here's the thing, though. The joke itself. This is the irony, the beauty of it. I think should he be vindicated? We really need Mike to be vindicated. As comedian, Abdul and I and the whole comedy community is kind of waiting with bated breath to find out what ultimately happens. But the story is, so Mike had a joke, and here's the thing. The premise of the joke is, why is it that we have these sacred cows in society?
Show business, yeah,
People,
in show business, yeah.
people, things that we are just. It's assumed that you don't make fun of it.
Right.
So he went on to talk about Céline Dion. How come she's the princess of Quebec? We can't fucking make fun of her, even though. And then he went on to do jokes about Céline Dion and how she was 8 years old when she met René Angélil, and then whatever jokes like that. And then Ginette Renault. How come nobody can make fun of Ginette Renault because of the she's Toton or whatever? And then how about Petit Jérémy? Okay, and here's the thing. So if you're outside of Quebec, you may not even know Petit Jérémy, but the fact that Mike was able to say Petit Jérémy and everybody know who
The
he's talking
entire
about means
crowd
that
knew,
the
yeah.
kid
Yeah.
has hit
So
a
famous.
level of celebrity and notoriety that he's in the public domain now. He's you say Petit Jérémy and everyone understands what you're saying. He didn't have to explain who the kid was. You
Right.
say Petit Jérémy, and in Quebec, everyone knew who he was.
Yeah.
And then he went on to make joke about the kid, about how, at first he was defending him. No, let him sing. He's deaf. One of his disability is that he's deaf. So Mike would say, hey, if he wants to go sing for Céline Dion, that's his make-a-wish dream. It's his dying wish to sing badly for Céline Dion. He's deaf. Écoute, he's deaf. He sings and he goes, ba, 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 ba. That's him singing. I thought that was fucking so funny when he did that.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, when you take everything out of context, it sounds horrible, right? The way that they're doing it in the court, it sounds horrible. It sounds like he's an evil genius trying to belittle a child who's handicapped and wishes he was dead. But that's not what it is. The kid was famous. The kid was on every magazine. The kid was talked about on the news constantly. He was in everything. He went to Rome or wherever it was that he sang for the Pope.
The Vatican.
He was everywhere, man. He was everywhere.
That's the irony of it, is that's what the joke was about.
Celebrities.
Why can't we make fun
of these people that are at the hierarchy of our social whatever? Right. We put them on a pedestal.
And again, ironically,
which is what comedians are supposed to do. Take down the hierarchy. Take down, you're supposed to question things that we've put out in society and make fun of it.
And
that's what he did.
He had gotten in trouble. He had gotten in trouble before for making a joke that included a missing child, right? But the joke was about Revenu Québec, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but that was another story.
Threats, he had people staking out his thing.
Yeah, that was
another story, yes. Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is that the irony of it is that it's so clever.
Yeah.
Mike's approach, he's known as this dirty comedian and he pushes the envelope, but both jokes, the premise of the joke, the social discourse that he was trying to embark on is ultimately missed because he got in trouble for actually doing that, which is the point he was trying to make. Why is it we get in trouble for this? And again, I can't speak for all disabled people, but I think one of the goals of many disabled people is I just want to be treated like everybody else. Why does everybody have to treat me stare at me and whatever? I just want to be like everybody else. Well, fuck, you just were like everybody. You were in the same joke thread as Céline Dion and Ginette Renault. Chris, be happy.
That's a pretty good. Yeah, there you go. That is a good way of looking at it.
These are
You're
two
being put up on
very famous
You're on
singers.
Yeah, very successful, famous singers. So to be put up on the same level as them isn't insulting at all. It's actually, I mean, I think the way that, anyways, I don't want to comment on all of that, but I think it definitely is frustrating to see because we need this to. He has to win. Otherwise, literally anybody can sue any comedian for anything that hurt their feelings. You can now just use that as an example. Any celebrity, anybody can use that. If you make a joke about the prime minister, you make a joke about anybody specific and you say their name, you can now just get sued, which is crazy.
This case have the perfect storm from both sides, because on our side, on Mike's side, we need to be able to speak about n'importe quoi as long as the intention isn't hateful and violent.
Right.
See, but on their side, for society to try to get people on our side for it, it's difficult because now they're pointing out not just that he was disabled, but that he was a child, right?
Yeah,
The child part is really, we have to protect the innocence of our children and that.
but
So
I don't.
you're listening to it in court, and the justices, the Supreme Court justice, are saying that it's not just that he's disabled, it's that he's a child. Why should a child have to say, wait till he's an adult to have to put up with these, the
But
social commentary
yeah,
that you're making, blah blah blah. And
it's
but to show you what a hero Mike is for our people, for our business, the initial lawsuit was $70,000 to defend in that first case that was in front of the tribunal. Droit de la personne, whatever, the human rights
tribunal. Yeah,
tribunal here in Quebec. Um, it was $70,000. Mike spent more than $70,000 defending himself against that first wave, and
yeah,
then so they granted $35,000 to Petit Jérémy. From that, they granted 30 after he spent more than 70 to defend. They granted 35,000 to Petit Jérémy and 7,000 to his mother for damages, pain and suffering, whatever. He appealed that. The Court of Appeal of Quebec, they got rid of the 7,000 for the mother, but upheld the 35,000 for Jérémy. Um, so you can imagine it cost him more than 70,000. I don't want to get, it's his business, so I don't want to get into it. But more than 70,000 for the first part. You can imagine that it was probably approximately the same for the Court of Appeal, and then they upheld that, and he took it to the Supreme Court of Canada. So the amount of money that Mike has paid to avoid paying $70,000, like it would have been easier for him to just la merde, let's just be done with it. No, but he's fighting on behalf of all of
yeah. Because if
us
he did
and
that,
you and everybody for the right to speak
right?
freely and push new ideas forward. It could. Uh, Mike is the sweetest guy too. Like, had he have known, like even the woman when I went to the courthouse for the first the Human Rights Tribunal, the mother was like, um, we asked him to stop and he didn't, because that was my thing. I always said Mike is so sweet. If he knew that he had injured somebody,
Yeah,
Mike probably would have showed up at the
yeah,
schoolyard and looked for anybody that was bullying
yeah. He would have
Jeremy
been the first
on the
person to
thing and
do
would have
that.
been like, hey, tabarnak, I'm not a parent. I can beat your. Mike is a nice guy, but she said we asked him to stop and he wouldn't stop. They asked him to stop after they filed the lawsuit
Yeah,
to try to, like, their lawyer probably said you should probably reach out and you've sued the guy. Why would he stop now? You're trying to get money from it.
yeah.
So
And it was the mother attacking, going after. It's not like the kid. It's when you see, it's hard because we see it like we saw from the start, and you see the mother's after some fucking coin. So it's like
yeah,
you can't bend at that shit because you can tell
and
when
there's people
somebody's
that
coming
just
for you for money or if they're real. You know what I mean? Like, and Mike is the type of person, like you're saying, if you seriously went to him or contacted him, he would be the first person, I have no doubt, to stop, and to not do
stop
it.
or at least address it, like
And
say
yeah,
something in the media
like,
that
dude, it
I've
kills
heard
me
I've
just to
heard
see what
Jeremy.
he's going through because I know what
Yeah,
type of person he is, and I know he's a great dude, and he's never meant to harm anybody. So to see
no,
somebody have to go through that, it's pretty tough. And I get the kid had a shit time probably, and that's why I'm saying like it's just a bad scenario in the sense that first of all the kid is famous, so it's a comedian's job to go after anybody that's famous. If you didn't want the kid to get exposed to that, don't put him in the public eye. I know people
right,
don't agree with that. I don't care. Uh, I
like, oh,
guarantee you,
exactly,
there's so many people that made fun of Justin Bieber, and they're not in jail or they're not fined and they're not paying thousands of
right,
dollars to go to court. There's so many people that have made fun of Greta Thunberg. There's so many people made fun of the kids from the school shooting that went out to now they're environmentalists or gun control. They're trying to stop lobby against guns. There's so many people that have made fun of younger human beings on this planet. But when you're in the
yeah,
public eye, that's what it is. You have to understand that when you put yourself there, the same like you and me, man. Like, dude, I've there's been times where like you're like, man, people are so mean, and I'm like, dude, that's just you're in the public eye. You gotta fucking just let shit roll. What do you gotta? Are you getting
He
your
wants to
producer
print something. Yeah, no.
in the middle of a
uh,
podcast?
yeah.
He's printing out a fucking book.
And why am I so fucking unsuccessful that I still have a dot matrix printer in your fucking little scenario?
Uh,
No, but you're absolutely right, Abdul. It's but again, it's the perfect storm, disabled and
it's
child. Uh,
look, it's a sad. It's like one of those stories where like somebody gets hit by a car because they stopped to help. There's like that woman in Chattagee stopped to help ducks cross the street. She stopped
right.
her car in the middle of the fucking road, and a motorcycle ran right into her car, and the motorcycle driver died. And now she's being charged as like a fucking murderer,
She
basically.
served time. She
Yeah,
served
dude,
time
it's
in jail.
totally like it's just one of those scenarios where like the person that committed a crime, or if you're going to call it that, isn't a criminal. So you're
Yeah,
going after. There's so many people that are
yeah.
really causing harm in this world that you're not even looking at, and you're
And
you're
it's
going
it's
after
like
people
logic
that
doesn't
do so many good things.
it's like logic doesn't mean anything anymore. Like,
No,
cause that case too, to me, it's pas logique what you're doing. It was terrible, tragic accident, but it was an accident.
yeah,
But again, just to finish off with the mic thing, um, on s'entend-tu that the kid again gained fame, okay, but he looked different, and he's hard of hearing. Really, you're gonna tell me that he got bullied in the schoolyard in grade 3 or 4 because of Mike Ward? Like these fucking asshole
yeah.
kid,
These 3 or
9,
4
10
year
year
old,
old
yeah, yeah.
kid
They're watching Mike
wouldn't have
Ward's
found a way to
special.
bully him on their own to try to knock him down a
Not to
peg.
mention,
See,
dude, how many ten
as
year
if it's
olds,
Mike's
how
fault.
many 10-year-olds are watching Mike Ward's special to begin with to know that he's making fun of the
Exactly.
kid? You know what I mean? Like, it's all
That's
sounds like
that's the
bullshit.
other.
It just sounds like all of it is bullshit. He shouldn't fucking even be in this position right now. Uh,
No.
if they would have just called him from the start, I guarantee you none of this would have been a big deal. But when you go after somebody specifically because you're just like, I want money, then
Yeah.
here we lay. This is it,
and
and you're
now
coming after
and
all
the
of
highest
comedy for at the end of the day.
the highest court in the land
Yeah,
now is going to judge whether or not we can or can't do that.
it's
It's
literally, dude,
an impossible task.
it's so black and white and simple. It's like if he's guilty, then you go back and fucking find every tape of every single late night host, every person on the planet that made fun of Justin Bieber, and that kid doesn't even need to fucking sing an octave or whatever. He doesn't need to hit a note again in his life. He'd be able to sue the
Well,
planet. Everybody made fun of that kid relentlessly.
here's 2 points I want to make. First of all, when I was watching the Supreme Court hearing, you could tell that some of the justices were already their mind was already made up, or at least they were leaning toward
You
one
can
way,
kind of sense
right?
where they're leaning, yeah, based off the
Yeah.
way they talk, yeah.
So as it was happening, though, I'm tweeting like, well, fuck, there goes, see, 50 years worth of Helen Keller jokes, see, Christopher Reeve jokes,
Yeah.
Webster, see, Webster, there's, like what, um, see, if you think about Delirious, Eddie Murphy had Webster joke, he had homosexual joke, see, but it's the fact that he's a kid and disabled. So that's one point. That was a tweet that I put, like, Helen Keller and Christopher Reeve and the deaf actress there. What's her name?
I don't know.
Marley Matlin. Marley Matlin. So there goes all those jokes. See,
Yeah.
Terry Fox. There's another joke. You'd see another. But the second point is, I forget what the second point is. I made such a good point on the first one.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation, man, to see all
Yeah.
this continuously
So
going on and all the way to the Supreme Court. It's nuts. It's just nuts because yeah, this is can the law, like, it's a law. I don't think people understand because they just go, yeah, he made fun of a disabled kid, he should pay. But it's not a question of he should pay. If he has to pay, that means every one of us will have to pay from now on because
yeah,
you
get
set a
ready for a
precedent.
lot of weather jokes.
Yeah. It's
making.
just it doesn't make any sense. It's just like we're living in a bizarro world where people are corporations are poisoning the planet. The same country that's taking a guy to court over a fucking joke. You know,
Oh, right.
like
That
they
was
can
my other
go
point. Was
after fucking anyone.
like Mike Ward, a comedian, trying to push a new idea or question the social fabric and the social norms, but yet the president of the United States,
Yeah,
who garnered more than 70 million votes in the last election, in the last campaign,
yeah.
remember
And they
there
make the
was the
handicapped, reporter made fun of.
cerebral
Yeah, yeah,
palsy journalist where Donald Trump's like, oh, and they asked me a question. That's the president of the United
yeah,
States. Fucking scot free. 70
yeah,
million people still support
yeah,
him. But Mike Ward, a
yeah.
comedian, a top
Who does
notch,
a
very
lot
smart,
for
kind comedian.
disabled and does a lot for charities. Who does more than like anyone I know. Uh, it's crazy. I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's what kills me to see because it's insane. It's like the one person who
Yeah.
does more than anybody to help out people is being bullied by our fucking Supreme Court. It's
Yeah.
it's bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. And then
So,
meanwhile, corporations could do whatever the fuck they want, mine and take and take the water and just fucking sell it and not pay the country for anything. Nobody's looking. We're
yeah.
all looking the other way. Fucking money laundering coming in from other countries and drugs, fentanyl crisis that they're causing in Vancouver and fucking real estate prices.
First Nations
Everything that we
people
got,
are
nobody's doing
being
shit,
fucked.
right? But a guy telling a fucking joke and the Supreme
Yeah.
Court has to sit down to listen to this. Are you fucking kidding me? You have so many other issues in this country that are affecting thousands of people
Yeah.
in one swoop. And you're gonna sit there and try and show us that you actually give a shit about one kid. That's what you're trying. No, you're doing your job, you're getting your paycheck. But if you really wanted to fucking do something, there's a ton of shit in this country that needs to get fucking cleaned up. So that's it's just it's insane to see. It's crazy that comedy is at
So,
the fucking
yeah.
Supreme Court in this country.
Hopefully,
Wow.
it's still it could take up to a year for them to make a decision. So fingers crossed that things go Mike's way. And when I say goes Mike's way, goes the way for all of us.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to make a living speaking their mind in public, this is a huge, huge case. It's huge. It's huge for all of us. And
Yeah.
Mike has had
Yeah.
to bear the brunt of the whole fight
Yeah.
himself, financially and emotionally. Mike went through a good 9 month where
Fuck. Yeah.
his mental health was very, very precarious, let's say. And I felt so terrible for him. And in that time, just to show you what kind of fucked up people comedian are, Mike going through quasi depression decides to go vegan at the same time. I'm like, dude, why are you fucking making extra challenges for yourself? What the fuck? Have some bacon, tabarnak.
Yeah.
But again, it got him thinking, am I a bad person?
Yeah. Of
Am I
course,
a
you're gonna
bad
start
person for
questioning
doing
yourself.
this?
Yeah.
So the vegan thing, I think, was a progression to like, you know what? I want to I'm a good person. And
You didn't
the
want to kill
vegan
any
thing maybe
animals.
was his way of, yeah, it was saying, we're terrible to animals. So yeah, like he's that good of a person. Like, put it this way, this lawsuit, as frivolous as we might think it is and everything, Mike didn't take it like, fuck that kid. He thought about it. He took it
Yeah.
to heart. Like, oh my God, why are people thinking that I'm a bad person? I'm so not a bad person. I was trying to figure out something in society that is a truth, and I'm questioning that truth, and then throwing out jokes in at the same time. Like, there's Dave Chappelle does that a lot. And most recently he did, he's done a few shows at his ranch or whatever, at his farm.
Yeah.
And there was one that he released the clip. Dude, like, it's I think it's 20 minutes. There's like two little, because he's Dave Chappelle, he can't help but be somewhat funny. But it was 20 minutes of not jokes at all. He was enraged at the police violence situation. But again, riveting. There was no jokes. It was talking, but I couldn't look away. It was so upsetting. And um, anyway, so these people are important. They're important to bring up ideas that that need to be addressed. I mean, this particular case, like, why can't we make fun of disabled kid? I think we all know the answer, but it's still an interesting question as to the hypocrisy of what it is. Like, tu viens pas me dire that people in regular life, in the privacy of, the hockey changing room, say a bunch of
Right.
guys hanging around, you're gonna tell me there's not inappropriate things there that would be deemed inappropriate in
Yeah.
general society,
Yeah, but I
but in that context, it's okay.
yeah, I think that what they're doing is they're putting it in the sense of because he's saying this to a lot of people, this is
Right.
being spread to a lot of people. It's almost like the way they're looking at it and they're playing it, it's dirty. It's like you're trying to make him look like an evil genius. Like he just was like, I'm going to put this joke on a special so hundreds of thousands of people can see this and bully this
Yeah.
child and make fun of the kid for his disability. It's like, it's a joke on an album that got a laugh. It got a laugh because it was funny. So you
And
can't
again,
tell anybody that it's not right if it got a laugh. You're allowed to do what gets a laugh,
right.
And if you didn't get a laugh, you could still do it because you still have to try it, but you wouldn't have put it on a special. You would have tried it, it didn't work, and you would have left it, and you would never have done it again. But it worked because people felt very similar in this to what he wanted, what he said. So you can't right there. It's like public opinion. You can't the court has no say, in my opinion, when they see this because the real court is people, and he did it
Right.
in a full room of people and they all thought it was hilarious, and right there that's where it lays. You can't do anything.
130,000 people. That's the thing with a joke, right? The if it wasn't funny, he would have dropped it from his
Yeah,
act. That's if so
but
there's
it resonated with
130,000
people.
people that came, and if they don't, anyway, it's
If things
the
yeah,
ultimately the case, they measured out, they laid out the case. It's the which one is more important, which one is the has the higher social value and legal value, is freedom of expression versus the individual
yeah,
dignity
right
of
to
the kid,
dignity. Yeah,
the
yeah,
right to
yeah,
dignity.
right to dignity.
uh yeah,
Yeah.
fucking
Anyways, it's a very crazy thing to see in our fucking society right now, in this country, especially every single comedian is like out of work and has, you know, you're basically, it's like you're pounding us down. You're basically saying you can't work right now, and you know what? When you can get back to work, it's gonna be fucking dicey out there for you to come up with shit
yeah,
without maybe hurting somebody, you know.
that's it.
And
There's going to be 15,000 comedians that have nothing but COVID-19 jokes.
and
That's
that's
the
all
only
you're
thing
gonna
that's
get.
safe to joke about.
If you
Everybody
fucking
hates
if you
COVID-19.
want Mike Ward to lose, that's all you're gonna fucking get, you assholes. Just
Yeah.
fucking the rest of this country's comedians just giving you the same bullshit
Yeah.
premise. We'll just keep doing. That's what everybody should do. Just fucking
It's 2021. Who knows? There's going to be a fucking microbiologist that said, "Hey, there's a virus. I just got a motion filed by this virus that we shouldn't be talking so badly about it. Where's my right to dignity? I'm just a creature living here."
I'm just bacteria. Let me live. Let me live. They're trying to kill me. Yeah, buddy. What are you gonna do? It's definitely on top of everything that's happening right now. I think it's just crazy to see all of this. The world is fucking heading. Did I send you
Yeah.
that video of? Well, I guess we should probably get lighter. We should probably laugh more than get so serious.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Seriously. But anyway,
Let's get down the
before
road
we
of
move on,
comedy instead of
if you're a fan of comedy, please send out good energy to the universe that this case goes Mike Ward's way, and the way of free speech and comedy in general.
also
We're all
maybe just
pulling
write
for you,
your
Mike.
MP. You can write your MP also.
Yep.
Write your MP and let them know what you think, if the Supreme Court should have any say in this at all. Because if enough people start writing their MPs, they'll have to bring it up and they'll have to talk about it and they'll have to decide whether or not these are things we should be fucking hearing in the Supreme Court or in any, it doesn't make any sense to me that it even Quebec, I don't understand. And then on the other hand, you got Francois Legault, the premier of Quebec, keeps fucking saying all he wants about freedom of speech. You can't. He's defending a professor for using the N word in university in class.
Right.
And he keeps saying, well, you're allowed the right to freedom of expression. You have to be able to discuss things and talk. You can't, and then, but your fucking your court, your province's highest court is now in front of the Supreme Court against one human being. You're
Yeah.
taking a person down like that for, I don't get it. And you're trying to champion freedom of speech. The first person you should be standing in front of is Mike Ward. That's who he should be standing in front of. And when he always fights for his fucking freedom of speech, Francois Legault, it's always for shit that has to do with race. It's always like when there a lot of things. There's, I think, in Paris, the last thing that happened in France with the Muslims. Again, he was like, well, no, we have to have freedom of expression. We can't just, because it's like, yeah, well, dude,
Charlie Hebdo.
I
Yeah,
fucking
Charlie
agree
Hebdo.
with you 100%. But you can't be in favor of it on one side and then the other side you have no opinion and you don't even talk about it. I'd love to hear him say something about this, because he is the premier of this province of Quebec and he could do something. I figure, I don't know, maybe he can't anymore, but it would be great to hear his stance on that, since he's so gung-ho about fucking freedom of speech all the time. And again, I mean, that's another thing too with, like, I don't know, we should get fucking funny.
Yeah.
And another thing, let me tell you. No.
Did you on another freedom of expression
no.
comedian? Did you hear? You ever watch Tout le monde en parle?
Ben oui, là, des fois, je check ça.
So Danny Turcotte, who was kind of like the Ed McMahon for the
Tout le monde en parle.
on Tout le monde en parle, which is like a panel show that airs every Sunday. It's the most watched television show in Quebec.
Yeah.
But it's a chat show, panel show. It's not quite the Tonight Show. It's not quite, what's that British guy that has the great chat show?
I guess it's kind of like Bill Maher, but not a comedian hosting it.
Right.
They have like a sit-down panel.
Danny Turcotte was the comic relief. So I don't know if you followed internationally. Here in Montreal, there was a thing where a police officer was attacked and they wrongfully arrested a black man, for the crime. Held him in jail for 6 days before they realized, oh shit, we have camera footage and it's clearly not him that did it. He's still sitting in his car.
Yeah.
But they treated him bad. Imagine. He's accused of attacking a police officer. You can imagine that his arrest didn't go super fucking gently.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he went on Tout le monde en parle to talk about the whole.
Oh, no way! I didn't see that.
The whole thing, and then at the end, so Danny Turcotte always has a joke at the end of the serious discussion. He has a joke question or something to lighten the air.
Yeah.
And so initially, this man, Mr. Camara, I believe is his name. Initially, he had been pulled over for being suspected of speaking on his telephone by this officer Singh, who was the officer that gave him a ticket, gave him like a $400 ticket for talking on his cell phone while driving. Then that officer got attacked by somebody. His gun was stolen. They still haven't found his gun, the police officer's gun. And so, Mr. Camara is the one that called the police to say, holy shit, this policeman just got attacked. Police showed up, said, okay, thank you for calling. You can go now. It's cool. We're going to try to find our fellow officer and see what's up. By the time he drove home, they had fucking 20 police cars waiting for him at home and arrested him for that crime that he had called the police to say there was a crime happening.
Right.
As if you're going to beat the shit out of somebody, be like, quick, come, I'm beating the shit out of somebody.
Wow,
anyway,
crazy.
So he goes on the panel show to discuss the whole ordeal with the Tout le monde en parle. And at the end of the interview, then Turcotte, I think he writes them on a card, or maybe he just said it. He said,
normally they write them on the card. And
the moral to this story is like, are you ever going to talk on your cell phone while driving again? Went fucking nuts, right? It's also COVID, so it's all Zoom. There's no live studio audience anymore. But people fucking lost it on him. Death threats. How could you fucking say that? This is a real. And he quit. 17 years. He's been the sidekick on the. He fucking quit. People just went at him. He's like, for a while now, through this COVID, no audience. It's hard to, no audience. It's hard to feel if your jokes are hitting, right? It's like,
I agree.
We do a comedy show. I beg the people, please keep your camera on and your audio, your microphone live so I can hear if the jokes are hitting or not. He's got to do this every night
every once a
talking
week.
to
Yeah,
serious issues and try to be, the
that's funny. I
fougueroid, the
laughed. I thought that was
court
hilarious.
jester. Yeah, it's fun. It's funny, and they even shared because he was getting so much hate. Then he just got felt because again he's a nice man, he's just a
He's
comedian trying to, and with no live audience you don't know if the jokes are hitting or not. Anyway, he got so much hate, so he made sure to text Mr. Kamara and say, Écoute, I hope you know that I didn't mean to hurt you, it was just a joke, I was trying to make light of the
yeah,
the
yeah,
situation. And Mr. Kamara answered, no, I didn't take it personally at
yeah,
all, it's no problem. Danny Chokat had to post that screenshot of that text to tell everybody, whoa, the guy that you're
yeah.
fucking
You're
wanting to
yeah,
kill me to defend his honor, he's fine with it. Could everybody
yeah.
chill out? So Danny Chokat just said, fuck it. It's too hard in COVID with no audience telling me if the jokes are good or not. I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just constantly
I think
worried. Every word
yeah,
I say, I'm worried about getting in
we're
shit.
not heading
So
down
he,
the right
after
path.
17 years,
Yeah,
no.
we're not heading down the right path, and especially for entertainment comedy wise, like, dude, I felt it after the first like couple months with COVID, and just like I remember doing a spot at the Nest, and I just like I kind of wrote something about, or I think I said something about the fact you could feel the tension like from people like with COVID because everyone's affected in their own way. So you don't know
Yeah.
how they're affected. And you could just say one joke about something, but it's going to affect them no matter what. Somebody's going to be affected because we're all going through a fucking struggle
Shit.
right now. So it's
Yeah.
it's very hard for comedy. You know, like I just fucking said a joke about I think the restaurants and fucking everyone got like people were just like oh like okay and it was just like I'm like yeah the great restaurants I'm totally we got to save them but we could fucking lose a few moxies or like
Yeah.
so like we don't need all those fucking stores with a
Does
great
every
decor.
neighborhood need a Belle Province?
Yeah,
You know what I
like
mean?
it's like, and but people were the restaurants, they're struggling. It's like, yeah, I get it, they're struggling, but we got to laugh at
Yeah,
something. I mean, what do you? We're all struggling. We have to laugh. Like,
I know.
I feel
It's
like
like
it.
when we make fun of something, people think like if we make fun of something, we automatically hate it
Right.
or
It's
something like
like
that.
we
You
honestly,
know?
a lot of times you make fun of things. Yes, okay, because it frustrates you, but a lot of times because you're trying to bring light to a situation that everyone's miserable about. you know?
Right.
So you're
Doesn't
trying
mean
to
you hate
find the
them.
funny to get people to laugh at stuff. You're not trying to make people cry. So like I
Seriously,
mean it's funny to me that there's a lot of shitty restaurants that have lasted this long. I've said it before COVID,
yeah,
it's like a lot of these restaurants are just a fancy decor and people go like I like the ambiance. The food is shit, but you're like, yeah, the ambiance is nice. But so it's like to me, I think that's funny because I'm like, all right, finally we can fucking lose the ambiance restaurants. Like, can we just focus on the ones that actually make good food? But people just, yeah, it's a weird
you
time.
bring up you bring up a really good point that people jump to the conclusion that because we make a joke about something means we hate it or
Yeah.
something. People should, the whole world should sit in the back seat of a car when you and I are on a road trip. It's just 6 hours of you're a fucking faggot. Oh, you're fucking. See?
Fat ass fucking
Yeah.
we yeah
Well, not shit.
we
What are we
just
gonna have today? No more fish cakes, you fucking halal eating piece of shit.
I remember when I ordered we
But
ordered
we love each other.
yeah
You're calling me a fucking lazy alcoholic all the time. I'm calling
dude
you a
it's
fucking
it's
keener
like I don't think
scaredy cat.
and I think that's why I think ultimately that's why people do enjoy comedy podcasts because you get to sit in on what comedians are saying when I don't know if to me it's like you don't have to worry about it right we're not here to fucking judge but I hate how now
Right,
people just cut and paste things and they're like well look at what they said like
right.
it's just
And again, let me just defend
it's
myself here
crazy.
because
Oh, you better defend
I
yourself.
was reconstructing, recreating me and Abdul in a car. If I call Abdul a faggot,
It's usually
it,
you that would say
it's
faggot,
not a
not
I'm
me.
not it's not a hate for gay people or anything. It's just something that guys when they're together will say, "Oh, like it's cool. Can I close the window?" "Oh, shut up, you faggot." It's just a thing that guys say to each other. I'm not saying that that word should be used. I'm not defending it. I don't know why I'm so scared all the time because I guess because what we
Because
were just talking
we
about
just talked
earlier.
about how
I
everyone's getting
don't mean to
sued.
offend it. It's not okay. that word is not okay. That word does have some power behind it, but two guys sitting in the car, it loses a little bit of its power when, I fucking have dinner with him and his wife, and it's not a gay thing. It's just something you say to a guy to try to belittle him. But I love
It's
him.
a
Everyone knows that. And I
generational
love gay
thing.
people.
I
I
think
love gay people so much, I might let you have sex with me. That's how much I love gay people. So it's not, I didn't mean to be insensitive by using that word, is what I'm
you
saying.
would love it. I
No,
just
I've had sex with enough guys to know that I'm not gay.
maybe you just haven't found the right one, buddy. Maybe you
You're
got to
right,
get out
Mr.
there and
Right. Maybe Mr. Right is out
keep
there. Yeah.
looking. Mister Right might be there for you. What I wonder what
Derek at
I wonder.
dereksege.com if you have if you have a good sales pitch for why I should give it another shot.
Yeah, it's funny how people just take things way too serious. We lost, and I think COVID is killing people's brains with everything. Like I said, I think it's everyone's affected in some way. But yeah, doing the Zoom shows must be crazy to like what Danny Turcotte is saying. Basically, the same thing. Like
You do
you have no
16
reference of
years
what.
doing your job in
Yeah,
front of a live audience,
yeah,
and then you're expected to perform at the same level
yeah,
with fucking nobody there.
yeah,
Four camera guys. See? Uh,
yeah. It's definitely
it,
different.
it's off-putting. That's why a lot of comedians have not been able to transition into the Zoom world of comedy.
Yeah,
And that, which is I've done enough. Basically, I mean, I had no choice. I have to provide for my family, so I got through it. But now I've got done enough of them that I am able to coach whatever the group is. I do my own shows where I'm in full control. Say I'm the Panderic shows. I've done 8 of them. The last one being, I think, the most successful one of all of the ones I've done. We had close to 400 people on the last
right on.
Panderic show. But I'm in control. I decide how many Zoom people are there, and the rest are gonna watch via YouTube. But the Zoom, this time I had approximately 40 people and at the beginning of the show, I'm like, please keep your camera on, please keep your audio on, unless you have a dog barking in the background. All things that you learn by
Yeah,
doing many of them. Like, I want them to keep their mic on, but I also let them know if your husband is grinding a fucking, like
yeah,
stripping a table with a sander, maybe you can mute your fucking audio. But otherwise, I need the feedback. I need,
yeah. You have to
you
know what's
40
funny.
people, you 40 people are helping guide me which trajectory to take joke wise for 400 people. So I need you 40 people to be there. I want to see you. I want to see you smiling. I want to hear you laughing, or I want to see your disapproval. Like, no, we really are not in the mood for. You're really not pulling off this, say, Petit Jérémy joke or whatever the joke might be. See?
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's a
it is.
strange
It
time.
has to be hard for a guy like that. See,
It's a strange
it's a
time.
good job. The number one show. He's the number 2 guy on the number 1 show in Quebec, and he had to walk away because people are just,
It's a strange
he
time, dude.
can't tell if what he's saying is being taken the way that it's meant,
Well,
and it's
just
meant to be just a joke.
I mean, even the fact of like we were talking about with Legault standing up for like professors or teachers using the N word in class to it because it's in their studies. Like to me, I get
But
why.
to clarify, we have to clarify some of these things, Abdul. He didn't just fucking the professor didn't walk in and look at a black
No,
guy and
no,
say,
no. That's
"Hey,
what. Yeah, yeah,
N
yeah.
word."
Sorry. That's not what he did at
He
all.
was
He was
talking
talking
about
about
the professor,
right. Go ahead. Yeah,
the word.
yeah,
He was literally talking about the word
yeah,
and the effect that it have, the power that it have.
yeah,
But in speaking about it, he said the word,
yeah.
and people lost their minds. And it's like, to me,
It,
if he's not saying it to offend or hurt
you're
people,
using it to educate.
it's okay. Yeah.
You're using the word
To
to
me,
educate.
it's a clear thing. There can't be anything like in comedy or in university, especially. This is where we're teaching people how to think progressively,
Yes,
how to advance thought.
yes.
It's a
Not
no-brainer,
to
but I see
mention it's
people have strong opinions about it.
it's in the dictionary.
Yeah,
You can't. I don't. To me, I can't fathom the fact that people say you can't say any words even though they're in the dictionary.
yeah,
What are we supposed to do?
and
Pretend the word is not in the dictionary? It's a word, okay? All these words are there. You don't use a word to make somebody, if you're using the word in its negative connotation, terrible.
right,
But if you're using
yeah,
it because you're describing something that it happened in history and you're talking to educate people, to let them know this is what happened in the past. This is how people learn and move forward. Otherwise, you repeat the same mistakes. So you
much
need
like
to,
much like
and you have to,
much like Mike's
yeah,
case. Mike's
yeah,
case, right? Is the irony is that people got upset about the actual concept. Like the professor was saying, this word is horrible and it makes people feel such
Yeah,
terrible
they're
things.
forgetting the context of what,
And
you just can't
and
say the word.
people
Wait,
proved the
what?
point. He said the word, they felt so terrible that they want the guy fired. See?
How do you do your job?
And
Like that's the thing too that it starts to get crazy. Is like I feel for a teacher now because it's like comedy where you have to watch things that you say, and it's like that's part of your job though. You're supposed to say things that are in the English or in the French or in the dictionary, in history,
yeah,
world, whatever you're teaching. That's your job. Is you're supposed to
there,
do that. So it's like it doesn't to me. None of this makes sense. All of this is just crazy. The way that people
there's
just
video. There's video of the
brush
exact
things
same
off.
thing happening in a high school in America, in the States.
Yeah,
So a high school teacher said, it's sociology class or a history class, perhaps. The teacher said it again in that context. He's like the word, and I can't say it. It is such a
you don't
strong
have
word
to
that
say it,
like terrible that
but
I
you
can say
shouldn't get
faggot, but
in
I can't
trouble
say
if
the
you're
N
a
word.
teacher.
It's terrible.
Like somebody on the
But
street saying, "Yeah,
here's the thing. Let me finish my thought. I don't have that much gray matter to hang on to these things without being interrupted. It's crazy. So the teacher said it again in a context that was this word, and he says the N word has so much power, and it's upset. And this kid stood up, and is like, "Motherfucker, you don't ever fucking say that. I'll fucking kill you if you ever say that word again." And the guy's like, "Whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa, whoa."
yeah, but
He just said it. He didn't say it to anybody. He
yeah,
just said this word is very powerful, and it's uh, rooted in history as a terrible, aggressive, violent word. And this kid just stood up and started swearing at his teacher. Like
yeah,
people feel very strongly about this word.
yeah." But again, is it a
And again,
question
this
of
is a
that?
classroom. It's a kid. It's a 17-year-old
Yeah,
kid.
there
It's,
you go.
there's
Is
a
it
million things.
is it that people feel? I mean, yes, people feel strongly about this word, but uh, is it a thing that it's now because it's almost like you're held at a higher status if you're someone who tells people what they cannot say because it hurts other people, or it's like now we're all looking to like knock everyone down and you're a hero if you could take them down. It's we're in a different world now where you used to, like, I don't know, now it's like it seems like if you could take down somebody, you're being applauded, so it feels like that's, I mean, why would a kid do that? Why would a
Well,
kid get up and be like, cause a huge scene over this?
because it's very upsetting to hear those words roll off of a white
Dude,
person's lips for
dude,
certain
we
people.
were shooting. I don't know, man. Again, yes, of course, I agree. But this one person, I would like to
I
know
have
their
to say
history.
that word, it hurts me. It's
No, I
funny
get
that
it. I get it.
we're
But
desensitized. When I hear a black person say it, it barely affects me at all.
yeah,
But
well,
to hear a white person say it, even in a friendly, kind, explanatory
yeah,
context, I I got it. It is a powerful word. But again, in comedy, there's people say you can never make jokes about this. You can never make jokes about rape. You can never make jokes about dead babies or whatever. I disagree with all of that, and I disagree that you can't say the N word. But I'm
well,
not as brave as some people
context
because I wrote a joke once. I wrote a joke at one time about Eminem. It's an Eminem joke. It was early on in my career, and it was how
about the candy or the
Eminem,
rapper.
the rapper,
Okay,
that he have, like,
the
black
candy rapper.
rappers will come on as guests, like they'll do duets or whatever. There'll be a black artist on an Eminem album, but the black rapper will say the N word, and Eminem would never think about saying the N word,
Right.
right? Even if it was like that guy calls himself an N word,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
like he's quoting somebody else.
yeah.
He would still never fucking do it. Like, and then I got up to tell the joke. In the joke that I wrote, I needed to say the word, and I was on stage at the Comedy Works, and I went,
That's
and so
crazy.
Eminem has a black rapper on, and he says, and I got to that point, and he says,
The N word.
and I
Okay.
fucking froze. I'm looking at 75 people, and I went, in the joke I'd written, I had to say it, and what the fuck? I can't say it. I couldn't say it
Yeah.
in front of a mixed group of people, and that's my own cowardice, my own, maybe it would have been a shitstorm after, but my intention as I wrote the joke, the intention wasn't, it was just like Mike Ward questioning why is this rule exist.
Yeah.
But I still
I mean,
understood
it is funny
the
too
underlying principle
because
of the rule is that someone that looks like this
yeah.
just can't say it, and that's just I accept that as my reality.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. I was thinking about it too because of the fact that like I mean, obviously it's said with a different in a different pronunciation when it's in rap music, but I was thinking about that too, how it's hilarious how like rap songs have say the N-word so much and then like
Yeah.
like is anyone
And even
allowed
Dave
to sing
Chappelle, like you
along?
watch Dave Chappelle,
Like
he says it a lot.
I know, but like, is anyone allowed to sing along to anymore? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, people used to sing along to music, and now you're filling it with words that nobody's allowed to sing along to.
Yeah.
It's like I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like, what are we doing to ourselves
Yeah.
here? Like, it doesn't make any sense. We're just
It's funny too, like because the word, for instance, the word Negro,
yeah, it's
uh,
totally like Mexico. It's
sh-
just black
but like I could say
Portuguese.
that I didn't have a fucking shiver up my spine saying Negro for some reason, but it's just as rooted in bigotry
Well,
and
no, it depends on what it is. It depends on how you're using the word. You know what I mean? Like in Mexico, I mean, if you just go to, when I was in
it means black. Yeah, it
yeah,
just means black.
the things like in my neighborhood was all Mexican, El Salvadorian, like South American, my neighborhood in LA. And
Yeah.
any store you go to, anything that says black says negro on it. So you're
Yeah,
like,
like your car could be negro.
it's
Your
just
t-shirt is negro.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't make any sense to me because we're like it is a Latin word and it's just that the word was changed to use in a negative way and to educate people on that so that you understand that any word can be taken and
Yeah.
used in a negative manner, but don't do that. But the word exists, and
I
that's where
wonder
the word
if
came from, and this is the history behind the word. So like
I
I don't know, it's a
Yeah, I wonder if the
fucking
history of
world.
the word is some ignorant redneck couldn't pronounce Negro properly or
Well, I
just
think they used to
heard it and
call
then
them
mispronounced it and
Negroes
then
at the
it
start.
ended up being
That's what it was. No, I mean all those
yeah,
old
and
timey
but the
movies you used to
bad word,
watch.
the N word that we're talking about, I wonder if its evolution is
Well, that's where it
like
came
the
from.
whatever,
I'm pretty sure.
like it's Negro and then some idiot hillbilly fucking
I would like,
mispronounced Negro
yeah,
and it ended up being that word and it just caught on.
I would like to point out this is our Black History Month portion of the podcast. This is why we're talking
Oh
about it
yeah,
today. It has nothing to do with anything else.
that works out well. That works out well. Anyway, to wrap it up,
uh,
for me to wrap it my part up, watching that Dave Chappelle 20 minutes at his farm speaking about the police violence and the plight of black people in the world, not just in North America, but in the world, North America, South America, the Caribbean.
yeah,
Um, he in that 20 minutes, the violent white guilt I was feeling. I feel so bad. And he at one point he says, if you're with us, like what I'll implore you to do is as white people, go out there and do something nice. Just any random act of niceness
mhm,
for any black person you see. And he said, and Dave Chappelle said, the important thing though in this exercise is that the black person that you're doing the nice thing for, they can't deserve it. Like, don't go up to
yeah,
the guy that runs the after school program.
yeah,
No, you see a black guy, like you see a brother. This is Dave. I'm quoting. I'm not trying to be cool here, but you see a brother standing on the street corner selling crack. Fucking buy him an ice cream. You know what I mean? He's ruining the neighborhood. He's ruining. Let's fucking just buy him an ice cream because you know
uh,
the same. And the logic is the same way that these innocent black people were stolen from their country, put to
yeah,
work, killed, raped, treated like garbage. They didn't deserve
yeah, no,
that.
100%.
So do a nice thing for somebody who doesn't deserve being nice. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And it's
and a lot
fuck,
of yeah,
dude.
yeah.
You're right. You're right. Like my white guilt has made it so I would like to buy a fucking crack dealer ice cream. You know
Well,
that
that makes for a great
that's how
episode. We
bad
should
that's how bad that
take
the
bacon no bacon
situation
on the
was for
road and
black
just
people.
find a crack dealer.
Just serving bacon, just finding the
It's
fucking somebody black guy comes and home invades me. Fucking,
yeah.
hey, can I make you dinner? Can I make you some dinner?
Yeah, I can understand people, and I can understand like in America, man. Fuck, dude, the black communities in America, man, are so marginalized. It's unbelievable. Like when you see it, like what
Oh,
they live through, it's very. You could see the cards like totally not in their favor at all. Any like
right.
minority neighborhoods in the United States, Canada,
Yeah,
yes, we
if
have a
you're going for the
huge,
MVP
huge,
of
yes,
racism and bigotry, the
yes.
states could win, but
Canada's
Canada
got
is
some
not.
heavy stuff too. We hide it. That's what I don't like. We hide it. And that's what bothers me when you try to hide like the words, like you can't say this word or pretend it didn't exist because that's where people don't learn. Like when I went to Halifax and I was living there for a little bit, going around to all the I just love history. So I would go like on the weekends, I'd rent a car, I'd drive to all these historical spots and like just read up stuff, look it out, check it out. I've never been. I'd love to see it. So I would go and see these things, and man, I read so many of these. Like you go to so many of these historical sites, and you learn the history of how many black people were fucking dude. They had slaves in
Yeah, what was it
Canada.
called? Afrotown,
I can't
Africa, Africa,
Africville, I think it is. I
Africville, something
think
like
I'm
that. Yeah,
probably close.
Afroville,
There's a
where they just
dude.
get
There's
the fuck out.
a
First of all, they were
huge history.
like we do to our First Nations people.
Yeah,
They were relegated. All the black people in the area were relegated to this one neighborhood.
yeah,
And like, okay, fine, we'll try to make the best of it, whatever. And then suddenly they decide, oh, we want to build a bridge. Get the fuck out.
yeah.
We're gonna build a bridge, and it
Right where
lands
you
right in the
yes.
middle of where we made you
And they
live in the
would
first
do
place.
that to specifically spread them out so they didn't congregate and make a strong community. They wanted to break them up so that their
Awful.
community would get broken up. And that's
It's awful.
ultimately what our Canada has a huge and we don't know nothing about it. But
We don't teach it. It's
that's
terrible.
it. That's the dangerous thing when you start to pretend things didn't exist and you say you can't say a word or you can't talk about that time in history. We don't
Yeah,
know and we don't learn. I didn't know any of that, dude. And when I started reading, I was like, wait, why are we not talking about this in Canada? I went
it's
to high
terrible.
school. I graduated history. I have no recollection of black slaves in
Nothing.
Canada,
No.
and they still
No.
won't
If
tell them they're
anything,
slaves. They say
if
there were some nice, landowners who let them live in a cabin on their land, and in return,
right.
they did work on their farm. But what is that, dude?
If
That's a
Canadian
slave.
history teaches anything, if Canadian history teaches anything about that particular part of history or that particular subject, is that Canadians were heroes. Laura Secord helped, found the Underground Railroad. That's what we know. But it's
We
true. Our
don't know
history
the,
and
yeah,
even the current situation is there's still a lot of fucking
yeah.
bigoted, racist
Oh,
people.
100%. Yeah.
And our throughout history, Johnny McDonald, I think,
Oh,
was a
he,
slave owner at some
yeah,
point.
and he
Or
was like, he said some terrible things and
and
was,
not just black people. Like I think he owned Irish people as slaves. It was fucking.
I don't know the history on that, but that would be crazy. All of it is crazy. You
And
need to
French
know these
Canadians were
things.
it's a known thing that French Canadians were not full people. Like it was a big deal
No.
when French Canadians were granted half of a vote. Like we could vote, but our vote only counted for one half. You needed a buddy to make one vote.
Yeah.
French Canadians were, I'm not trying to compare at all.
Everybody
We're
that
not.
came to this country was because what it was waves of other countries coming. Right? You had Scotland, you had Ireland. No, sorry, you had
Oh,
Scotland.
this is before that, though. This is before it was
Yeah, but that's
English and French at the beginning.
actually the first people to land, if I'm not mistaken, were the Scottish in Canada. I could be. I don't. Your silence is
I
making
know
me think I'm wrong,
it
but
was
no, because Fort Anne, I think it is in Nova
Jacques Cartier.
Scotia.
Jacques Cartier was the
I would love to look it up right now, but I would want to make sure we should. I'll look it up
well, the
properly, and next
Vikings. I think
episode
we
we'll.
know in Newfoundland we know that the Vikings were there
Yeah,
like 100 years
yeah,
before Jacques Cartier ever came through.
yeah. But there was. I was shocked too to find out that I think the Scots were, if I'm not mistaken, at that particular
The
fort.
Scots, as if the Scots could build a boat. Just kidding. That's the
It was a
degree of
constant,
racism
yeah, it
I'm
was a
allowed to be.
constant
Like,
war
fuck, I can
between,
make fun of Scottish people.
yeah, because you're of whiteness,
Yeah, yeah.
and I can because I get a pass. Anyone that's of color can
You
make
do.
fun
You're
of
so
anyone.
lucky.
I can make fun
So
of anyone
lucky.
except black people, but black
Yeah.
people can make fun
You
of
sh-
anyone. That's how the
right.
hierarchy works.
Yeah, yeah.
That's hilarious. It's funny that you can't like it's funny. Like I find it hilarious that like we limit who's allowed to make fun of what. Like now
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't do
That's why
accents.
it's That's why Arthur Simeon is doing so well. Fuck, he's African black. Like he can make fun of Martians if he wants to. This guy is.
He's untouchable. But it is
And
funny how
Arthur
you like
Simeon, if you guys don't know Arthur Simeon,
very
Google him
funny
right now.
comedian.
I know the Canadian Association of Stand-Up Comedy, and I believe one of the Toronto Now magazine or whatever just did an expose. Mob's Press, Joanne
Yeah.
Britton's thing. They just did an expose on Arthur too, and it's great. He is so fucking funny. That guy, Arthur Simeon, so funny. He has a new album out. Somebody like the podcast, go check out Arthur Simeon if you don't know him already. Very much worth. Another huge Canadian talent. Canadian, he's Ugandan, but I mean he live in Canada. That so much. The, I'm changing subject now. Hopefully we were finished with that. Arthur Simeon, check him out. But Just for Laughs was in the newspaper this week. Did you see that?
No.
That they don't want to announce a date yet because they're not sure. Would the American big acts want to? We're trying to see if they'll who would be willing to, or if they would be willing to quarantine for the 14 days if they come and we do the festival for limited audiences, but to tape TV, blah, blah, blah. If the border stays closed, you could still have Just for Laughs, and you would still, you hire 100 top, we have 100 amazing world-class comedians in Canada, and there would still be 100 world-class awesome comedians that would be disappointed and not get it. There's easily 200 comedians that would make a crushing, amazing Just for Laughs show lineup, and it's like they didn't even consider that an all Canadian Just for Laughs. We're not going to do the festival if we can't get David Cross and fucking Bob Saget, and we're not going to have the festival if we can't get these people. Dude, you have such a rich bank of comedians, and like you specific, even comedians that have moved to Los Angeles or New York, whatever. Many of them have come back because of COVID. They're here now. They're Los Angeles grade comedians
Yeah.
that are now living here. Just have the festival with all Canadians. It's a COVID adaptation. You can go right back to bringing in everybody once this is all finished. But for right now, do the festival and have it all Canadian, and the shows will be funny.
Yeah.
You don't have maybe the celebrity appeal, the celebrity grade, like people
Attachment
that
to
just
it.
want to go see people want to go see Chevy Chase. I went to that Chevy Chase gala, and like okay, I'm seeing Chevy Chase,
Jesus.
but
Yeah, dude.
fucking Arthur Simeon would be way funnier
Right.
than Chevy Chase
100%.
was.
Not reading a
And
teleprompter also. I'm
yeah, we
sure.
would be. We have the talent in Canada to do an. We should do that. The Just for Canada laughs, or just
Just
fuck off
laugh,
Canada
Canada.
funny.
Just laugh.
Just laugh, Canada. Yeah.
Just be aggressive. Like, not even. Just laugh. It's yeah.
JLC.
I
No
don't.
JFL, JLC.
So they're not going to do it if they don't get any clearance for American comics. Is basically the end of this.
Basically, it was yeah. That was what the conclusion was.
But
We're waiting. We're not setting a date. We're waiting to see. If not, we'll go to them. That was it.
uh,
If they can't get the American guys to come in here and quarantine whatever to shoot the thing, Just for Laughs is going to send a camera crew to Austin, Texas, and shoot this guy. And okay, now over to like what they did for that
that's
giant
what they're going to do.
concert. Yeah, they said we'll go to them if we need to, which they've done a few times. They've done a few Just for Laugh productions. It's not the festival, but production that they went to
Wow.
the individual places to shoot these specials. Anyway,
Yeah, but
I'm just
they're
saying.
going to go to the U.S. to shoot these.
I have great ideas. What's stopping me and you from starting the All Canadian Comedy Festival?
Uh,
Laziness, probably.
Probably the
That's my
fact
thing.
that we're fucking arguing every episode and we're not telling jokes. We're talking about social issues. I would like
Yeah.
to tell anybody if you can figure out that who was the first people in Nova Scotia or like on the in Canada. I am curious. I think I think I'm wrong. I think the first people in Fort at Fort Anne, which is in Nova Scotia, were the Scottish. I think that's what it was, but it was very early on.
The Norwegians or whatever.
Right,
It's a
Vikings were the
known thing
first.
that they were
Yes,
the first
yeah,
ones to ever get here. Then
yeah,
there's a place in Newfoundland
yeah.
that's whatever,
But there
like
was a long like right,
1585 or something like that.
yeah. But then there was like in the 1600s, 1700s. I think there was a lot of
16.
back and
Yeah.
forth between the British and the Scottish and the French, like control over that area.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of back and forth. But yeah, I would love to. I'm gonna look it up anyways. But I'd love if anyone knows it, comment and school us, man.
Gotta
Educate us on some Canadian history here.
we gotta
We
wrap it
do
up.
got to wrap it up.
I have two coffees and a beer in me. I gotta pee.
All right, buddy.
But
Good
let's
chat.
take this opportunity
To
to I
thank
want to announce my next
child. You're having a
panderic.
child. Oh, okay. Another
No, God,
pandemic.
no. Sakima. So the anniversary of my first Panderic show is March 28th. The first one I did was March 28th.
Okay.
This year, March 28th fall on a Sunday. So I'm going to call it right now on March 26th, which is a Friday. March 26th
Okay.
will be Panderic 9, kind of the anniversary to
All
make
right.
it one full year on the same weekend, March 26th, 9 p.m. Panderic 9 will be going down. I just decided that right now. I don't know what inspired me, but I did it. March 26th.
All right, man. That's cool.
Right on.
Good to chat, buddy. We'll have to I guess end it so you can urinate.
Yeah, please. Good to see you, man.
Good to
I
see you
hope we
too.
get to hang out
I
soon. We
know.
need to sit
I
down and do
know.
one of these fucking
I know.
actually
I
physically
know. The
together.
new
It's
variant. They're now scaring us with the new variant. All right,
yeah,
man.
Andrew's parents are very scared of it. Literally, like they're scared with the news, the new variant, more contagious, more deadly. I see.
I don't know
It's
if it's more
when
deadly. I guess yeah, we gotta end it. But yeah, I don't. That's the thing with it. I've been looking at it, but they're not saying it's more deadly yet. At least there's no
some
evidence.
places are, some places
Really,
aren't.
eh?
It's weird. Yeah,
Okay. See, that's
yeah.
it's very it's all of it is so strange. And yeah,
When
even
it first came out, the UK variant, they said it was less deadly but more contagious, and now they're saying, oh, it could be. And there's a two-page
kill me.
spread in the Gazette today about people that have had it, the ongoing thing. Like I told you, Angie's best friend Trina
Okay.
in Calgary got it, and her husband got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
He's a Ironman. He's an Ironman. He's
Right.
done 200-mile races,
Yeah.
100 miles running. You're running for like 24
Oh
hour. You're
wow.
running. He got it, and he couldn't jog around his block. Like he
Wow.
was he's. It's a month and a half ago that he had it, and the long-term effects are that he's thinking right now he'll never run again. He will never be able to
Really?
run
He's
again.
still feeling having a hard time running.
She can't drink coffee. Her taste never really came back properly. She can't drink coffee. It tastes disgusting. He
Wow.
can't drink beer. He can't drink beer anymore, and he can't run. So there is long-term effects. In the Montreal Gazette today, there's a two-page spread going over various people that have had it. One lady had it. She had it 6 months ago, and she's been hospitalized. She's had to go to the hospital 4 times since not having it anymore because her breathing is so fucked up and her heart start to race. And so there's
Wow.
long-term effects of this disease that, like, there was a point that I was saying, I just want to get COVID so that just be done with it. So I've
Yeah.
had it and then I can't
No, it
get it
doesn't
anymore.
matter. You could
Fuck,
still
now I'm not so sure.
and
I'm
you can
not,
still keep
like, I'm
getting
not
it.
already not in good shape.
I have a
I
friend in
don't think.
Florida who sent me a message today telling me that he knows. And again, this is the thing: the vaccine doesn't mean you're not going to get it. Like he knows two older people
Yeah,
that were vaccinated. One of them just got their second vaccine like a week or 2 weeks ago,
the booster,
and
yeah.
they caught it again. So they have it again, which is a
Shit.
thing that I they're not saying this. People don't understand is that with the vaccine you still can catch it. It's just that it will soften the blow of how
Yeah.
sick you get. But
And it's 88% effective.
yeah, it's
That's not
less than what they
it's not
said
huge, yeah.
originally, like what the vaccine manufacturers said.
Yeah.
So it's it's all of this is
It's
like
gonna be interesting to see the numbers too, because there's there's
the
there's
next
the
few
Merck
weeks.
vaccine
Yeah,
and then there's the Pfizer one. I wonder which one,
of
if there's one that's more
Moderna,
effective than the
Moderna,
other.
and not Merck, Merck.
Moderna,
Yeah,
that's it, Moderna.
it's the next
I
few
wonder if
weeks.
one will end up being more effective than the other.
Yeah, the next few weeks are going to be interesting. I think it like in
Mhm.
a like data sense of trying to understand this thing. It's going to be pretty.
As people are getting vaccine, the frontline
Vaccines are
workers are getting
coming in, and then this
vaccinated.
new variant. Like we'll understand, I guess, more of how it spreads. But it sounds pretty
Yeah.
scary considering the way that they're talking about it. Like, did you see Dr. Tam's diagram on like what could happen
No.
if we, dude? It's like if we don't tighten even more than what we're locked down now, it's just gonna go like this.
Ah,
And then they're like, if
man.
we control it and we don't let it get out of hand, it will go down. But otherwise, it's gonna spike way fast. Like they're predicting like 20,000 cases a day in like a
Oh
month
my God.
if we don't. if we don't like really lock this down right
We'll
now.
save that. We'll save that for our next episode because that is another interesting point. Is that keeping the curfew but opening up
Fucking
movie
theaters
theaters and
and dude, again,
and I get it. I get
I
it. But we can't get our shit together in
no,
Quebec. I find the measures are not like fucking do it or don't do it. To see, I don't know. Do it. I mean, even do it. I don't want people getting sick. I don't want people dying.
yeah,
Anyway, it's very convenient. We'll talk about
we'll
it next
do it
time.
next time. All right,
Hopefully,
buddy.
we'll be. Hopefully, we'll find a funny way to talk about it.
Yeah.
See, we keep promising each other we're gonna be more funny this time. It's a comedy podcast. We got to be funny, and then black people and fucking handicapped children, and oh god, yeah, just a fucking barrel of laughs we are.
Oh man! All right, next
Seriously, I look
episode.
like I'm missing a tooth right here. I'm missing a tooth. See on this fucking weird lighting. All right.
All right, buddy.
Buddy, it's great to see you.
Good
Give
to
my
see
best
you.
to Carolyn
Yeah,
and your
you're
folks.
the best of the kids.
Be
and
safe,
Angela.
everybody. Be safe out there. Be kind to each other. Do a nice thing for not just for black people. Just do something nice to anybody you come across. It's so easy and it's so important
You're
now.
hilarious. Buy
get us
someone
all
an ice cream
pulled together.
cone. Have a good day.
Yeah, all the crack dealers buy ice cream for crack dealers in the middle of February. Perfect.
All right. See you, bud.
Be nice, everybody. Much love. Sending only love out into the world. Love you. Bye bye.